What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Yamcast. 2 weeks in a row, you no longer have to live a Yamcast-deprived life. We're so happy for you. I know you missed it. It's always rough seeing the comments saying, when will the Yamcast come back? We are here nurturing your soul. Yamcast for you all day, every day, at least once a week now, until the next travel thing happens or we can't do something else again.
Yeah, there might be an upcoming drought that we're gonna have to figure out our way around.
Yeah, we'll have to solve. We'll have to solve for that one later. All right, today we've got news from Can-Am of all people, not trikes. We got a lot of news going on there. Got a little bit from Royal Enfield and Honda as well, and of course, because you know we had to do it to them, we got a little bit of GP news too that we're gonna have to talk about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Later on the podcast, we're gonna have the DM portion where we are going to be chatting with the boys over on our Discord server. They're gonna be sending us in their comments over what they would do if they were given a hypothetical $1,000 for their motorcycle. How would they modify it? What would they do to it? What would they change to it? We'd love to hear it. And we'll also offer our insights as to what we would do for our bikes as well. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, we've got a bit of a meme contest where people put together, it's a pretty classic whiteboard kind of, pro and con format, right?
Yeah, I think it was definitely fruitful ground when we saw it. I think it's going to be pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one. And I just wanted to shout out for a moment that if you guys love the Yamcast, if you love this every week, you should join over on yamutube.co. You get access to the Discord server. It is a ton of fun. Spike put it beautifully one day where he said it's like a bike night that never ends. It's one of my favorite things about what we do here. And we actually have upgraded some of our stuff over on yamutube.co. You're getting 10% off on all Twisted Road rentals now and 10% off on our store as well, and entries to win all of our giveaway bikes. It is the best deal I can give for you, and I think it's a great thing. And for today's show as well, the contest, the main prize is the set of Flying Eyes glasses, right?
Yeah, so we actually have a whole, if I can get it right on camera.
Oh!
But
we are rich in flying eyes.
Yeah, we
grab
have
a
so
few
many
here.
that they're falling all over the table.
One would say they're flying out of the case there.
Go. So Flying Eyes is our new partner. They've got these awesome sunglasses that you've probably seen me wearing in videos. They're really comfortable under a helmet.
Show them the best part.
Yeah, the best part is you can just literally bend them around.
Yeah, the thing right here, it's just like you can just bend these bad boys. They're really nice.
They're basically indestructible.
Yeah.
Fit really great under a helmet, and I've been wearing these for like 3 or 4 weeks now, and I haven't gone back to my old sunglasses. So we are giving away a pair of these from this container full of sunglasses, and we're gonna see who wins a nice set of Flying Eyes sunglasses.
Yeah, but if you are biting at the nip, what's the word? Chomping at the bit. Biting at the nip is something else that we can't talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, that's between you and
between me and God.
Yeah.
You can hit the link down below and pick yourself up a pair of Flying Eyes as well. Thanks to them for supporting the show. Now, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
All right, Spite. The first bit of news I want to talk about is kind of crazy. Can-Am motorcycles are back.
They're back. After like decades of not being in production.
Yeah.
We have Can-Am motorcycles coming back with all electric too.
Yeah, really interesting here. For those of you who may not know, Can-Am is best known for making... what is it? Like three-wheelers, quads, all kinds of like other power sports things.
Yeah, their main market, I would say right now, is the quads. They've got these really big, like mega dirt boy golf carts that they sell, and they are expensive pieces of equipment.
Oh yeah,
they're serious hardware.
Yeah.
And then their thing that you're probably most familiar with, if you're not a redneck, which is okay for me to say because I have a bunch of hunting buddies that have a bunch of Can-Ams in their trucks. But if you're just a normal street rider, you're probably more familiar with their three-wheelers, like the Riker or the Spider. Yeah. All spelled with Y's because, of course, they are.
But for those who may not know, Can-Am back in the day kind of blew it up with the motocross bikes, right?
Yeah, they had these... that almost looks like some sort of crazy UJM dirt bike situation.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were actually like series contender motorcycles back in the day. And they just stopped making them.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why. I'm sure the article will dive into a little bit more.
I think there was a Fort 9 video about this, but I did not retain that knowledge.
The brand stopped building two-wheeled products in the late 1980s as consumer preferences and emission regulations changed. So basically, they couldn't keep up with changing emission stuff.
That's fair.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. And so they switched to probably more profitable, the quads and the three-wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Those things are crazy expensive.
They are super expensive. But, now they're entering the new realm of electric motorcycles.
Yeah. And apparently BRP has pledged about $300 million in electrifying its various products by 2026.
A big chunk of change.
And Can-Am is looking to launch their bikes by 2024. It looks like it. Yeah, they're trying to do all of this by 2024. And here we have a couple of bikes in this shot. And I originally thought that it was like naked sport bike, adventure bike, and then a pair of quads. But now that I'm seeing it again on the big screen here, that looks like a cruiser almost.
Yeah, the one in the middle to the left looks almost like a T7 with its like kind of vertical windshield thing.
Yeah, this kind of looks like it's got a Dakar inspired front end.
Yeah. And
then this looks like a low-down cruiser type deal, and this looks like maybe ex-Diavel kind of deal looking.
Maybe. Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool. I'm just wondering after so they stopped in the 80s, 40 years worth of hiatus, what they're going to be able to come up with for their first round.
I know.
And I wonder where they're going to come in priced, because that's one thing that we've seen in the electric bike market that hasn't quite really set well with consumers is price.
For sure. I mean, even the Livewire that has gone down considerably in price is still a $22,000 motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of change.
It's a great bike, but I wouldn't buy in at 22.
No, it's too much. It's just too much. Especially I think for you when you consider like I could get a Pan Am for that kind of money. You know, you're like that's a lot more bike.
Mm-hmm. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens with Can-Am, because it's not their world anymore.
No. No, things have changed dramatically in the two-wheeled world. And I know that they had competencies back in the 70s, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was 50 years ago, right?
But it would be super cool if they like black bag some people and they're like, you're going to design us a really good motorcycle. And then they come out of the woodwork with, an electric bike that has some Livewire-esque personality. Yeah. At a, 0FXS, the like kind of lightweight dual sport price tag. That would be great.
Because I think those I saw on Eurocycle actually just the other day because I was trying to find our next giveaway bikes. Those are like 10 grand, I think. Yeah. 95, 10, something like that. I don't know the range on them. I don't think they're like real world usable, but
the dirt bikes get like 40 to 70.
Yeah. That's like, don't go too far, plan accordingly.
But I mean, as far as, electric bikes to bop around the city, 40 to 70 is plenty.
The thing about electric bikes that has been growing on me, especially now that I have 5 bikes that are temperamental and I always have to do things to, is the low maintenance, man. Yeah. You don't have to do anything really. Yeah. If something happens to them, take them to the dealer, swap out a battery, whatever it is, but there's just not that many moving parts. It's kind of nice,
They're very chilled out too when you get them in like the regenerative modes. Yeah. Like they can be kind of serene riding experiences. Yeah. I still would rather have a big torque monster
for sure, gas burner
engine
all day. But I honestly think for the dirt bike world, electric is going to take off. Honestly, this is interesting too because BRP has also bought up some Alta assets, the electric bike company. Yep. So I think they've now, like you said, black bagged some people or bought up some good IP that they can use on these motorcycles. But I mean, Alta was so hardcore, like moto and off road. They were not really. This looks much more street and like normie consumer, right? Like it doesn't look like veteran off road guy who's trying to out something new. It looks much more like trying to appeal to a broad audience.
Yeah, I mean, the one that they've got here is their like flagship thing. Is definitely, it looks kind of like a electric Husky,
Pretty much, yeah.
So they're definitely leaning on selling it to your average motorcycle consumer, I would say. not, especially if they have these big power cruiser kind of deals. That's when you know they're committed to actual motorcycles, not just normie mobiles.
Yep. But this is pretty exciting from Can-Am, you know? Maybe in like 2-3 years we're doing a giveaway Can-Am or something.
That would be wild.
And it's a motorcycle, not some, you know, not to sound mean, but a wretched 3-wheeled thing that I don't want to ride ever. Like, I don't know. I'm literally disinterested in those 3-wheeled things.
I don't care.
I don't care at all.
Yeah, no, I don't even, like, sure, it would be fun for a video, but I don't even think I could muster up okay.
Yeah.
Because it's got a car tire. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't lean.
Yeah.
It doesn't lean, you know.
I can if I want to go have fun, I'll just ride a snowmobile.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next bit of news. It's from our favorite brand to love to hate.
Yeah.
It's Royal Enfield. They got the Scram.
Yeah.
411.
We made the joke earlier that they were too cheap to buy the Blur at the end of Scrambler.
They're like, listen, man, it's a Royal Enfield. All you get is Scram, okay?
So, yeah, the Scram 411 is it's a Himalayan.
Yeah, it's this kind of a stripped-out Himalayan, right?
Which, especially, so let's see. I think they claim a number here down at the bottom. Because the Himalayan's $5,000, so
yep.
MSRP will probably sit right around $5,000. I think this is probably going to, it's probably going to eat out a lot of Himalayan sales, would be my guess.
I think so, because I don't think that many people are super interested in the Himalayan's aesthetics. It is kind of like a old school ADV looking thing, but this thing has a lot of attitude about it, man. I gotta say.
Yeah,
and for the price point,
it looks better than the Himalayan. I think this looks like this is a 19-inch front end, 1918.
Yeah, I think it's a 1918 setup.
So, okay, it's definitely a little less capable as a result, but I mean, you're not going to be smashing hard enduro on a Himalayan anyway.
I've done all kinds of things I shouldn't have done on my desert sled, and that had a 19-inch front end. It'll do it, you know. You just got to think a little bit more.
So they're saying the same 24 horsepower.
Heck yeah. Donkey mode, baby.
There you go.
Donkey mode.
24 ponies. That'll make my KLR look quick.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
That's brutal.
But the thing about Royal Enfield that they do is they just, again, we've said it before, say whatever you will about them. They move units, dude. They sell a lot of bikes. I want to read that paragraph right there where they're calling this an ADV crossover. ADV crossover is a brand new subcategory created when legit ADV capability was crossbred with scrambler playfulness and accessibility, says Mark Wells, chief of design at Royal Enfield. At the very least,
scrambler was?
That's just a scrambler. Yeah, like a scrambler is supposed to just be like an old ADV bike, basically.
Yeah. It's like a smaller ADV bike with street
people just trying to make new niches out of nowhere. It's like, come on, dude. ADV crossover?
No.
ADVs are too specialized for the city, but most road bikes are too soft, Wells said. Too soft?
What is that supposed to mean?
What do you mean it's too soft?
Like, it's like, dude, you got to be on a Turbo Hayabusa.
Okay,
That's the only... So
what are you, a friggin' soft boy on your road bike?
Your road bike's too soft. Get the Scram 411.
Get the Scram 411. Get ready to scram. Yeah. So it says total weight is down to a claimed 408 pounds versus 439 pounds for the Himalayan.
That's actually pretty good.
408 isn't terrible. The Desert Sled, which is my like kind of benchmark for this, which it shouldn't be, but it is 450. So 408's fine.
And the KLR's 460 without the bags, so...
Yeah. But the KLR's much more capable, I think.
Yeah.
Longer travel suspension, bigger front tire and wheel. But, you know, as a handsome little addition to the kind of entry-level bikes people get, I think a lot of people will be interested in this thing. Especially those who... here's the train I see happening. Someone's online, they find out about scramblers, they're like, oh boy. They go to Triumph site and they go, oh no. They go to Ducati site and they go, oh no. And then they find the Royal Enfield and they go, okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's, I think, where this thing's going to kill it, because it looks, for any normie, it looks super cool. Mm-hmm. It basically is the same thing. It's super beginner friendly. It's price appropriate.
Yep.
They should kill it with this thing, honestly.
I think so too. And they're saying here that they're talking about the Indian market, in India, this thing is going to slay.
For sure.
This is right up their alley.
Yeah.
It's all the like cool stuff about the Himalayan for like beat up city roads.
Yeah.
But with a little bit more attitude than the Himalayan has. Because, I mean, that is a pretty good looking little motorcycle right there. I have to give it to him.
Yeah. It's a good look. I like the colorway, the 2-color wheel thing going on.
You know, I think
it's
one
cool.
thing that Royal Enfield really does is their colorways are great.
They are. Yeah.
Like looking at how many options the Interceptor 650 comes in, they saved so much money on the engine that they could paint it really nice. But they're
hey, you know, don't talk too much about the Interceptor because it, you know, may be the next beginner bike giveaway. Maybe.
Hey, apparently it looks like a $25,000 motorcycle.
It'll help the sales on the site. There we go. So yeah, I think this is I think this is a sensible thing to have done with the Himalayan.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, you know, what Triumph did with the Scrambler line. It makes a lot of sense. Let me see here. Front suspension has 7.8 inches of travel.
That's actually really close to the KLR.
And the rear suspension has 7 inches of travel with rebound adjustability too. That's
actually really similar.
Very similar to KLR.
Because the KLR is preload and rebound in the rear and unadjustable in the front.
It's kind of sounding like we need to do a Himalayan versus KLR video.
Yeah.
I think we might be surprised.
Sure.
The problem with the Himalayan, though, is if it weighs 440 and it makes 24 horsepower,
it's going to be so slow. It's not
going to move, dude. It's not going to move out of its own way.
It's going to be so slow.
Because you already complained that the KLR is like, all right, come on. You know, the Himalayan's like, oh my God, let's go. You know what I mean? Like it won't move. But I think we owe it to ourselves to make a video. I mean, it's got to be another one like the Versus or the Rebel. We're just like, we finally rode this bike, you know, and then, that'll be good. But yeah, handsome little bike from Royal Enfield. We're excited to see it.
Yeah, see what happens. Sure.
Next up, we have news from the Honda side of the things, and it's this new ST125 DAX with the adorable little Doxies as part of their marketing materials, which I love. It's one of my favorite dogs.
Here we go again.
So let's tell the people what they want to hear. This is yet another Honda Minimoto, right?
Yep. It's just a Grom.
It's another Grom, folks. Basically, they what to say about these things anymore, man?
I didn't realize this. Look at this right here. Look at how much nothing is right here.
Yeah.
It really highlights how little those forks are.
Yeah.
What's the size on the forks? Do they have something here? 31 mil.
31 mil, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, little baby forks, but it's a little baby bike, right? It's not really meant to do much of anything. So
So then what good is it? It's not meant to do much of anything.
It's not. It's really not meant. It's meant to just jump on it and, you know, a 6-year-old could probably ride it because it's a no clutch having little automatic bike. Honda's big play for the last like 15 years is just trying to get more people on their bikes, make them as accessible as possible. And I will say, I actually texted my fiance the photo the link to this article, and I was like, look, Honda's making a little bike based around little Doxies. Isn't that cute? And she was like, oh my God, I want one. That is so cute. She's never said that about any motorcycle.
Yeah, didn't she? What bike did we have in here that she thought was just ugly?
Basically everything we have. Any sport bike she thinks is just hideous. All the dad bikes hideous.
The adventure bike.
She really hates those. She hates the adventure bikes. She thought the Panigale was pretty, but just because it's a Ducati.
Right.
She likes the classic looks, right? I think people love the old school, charming looks of a single round headlight, cute little red paint job, you know, the little Doxy badge that it has on the side.
See if I can find, there it is.
Yeah, look at that. It's a little dog with goggles, you know, like this is the cutest thing.
Wearing a little helmet.
It's very cute. But, I mean, Honda's just, I think, killing it right now with these mini bikes, man. They have 5 different mini bikes, or 6 with this one now.
With this.
6 nobody else is doing that.
Nope.
They own this game.
Yup. Because, like, what are you going to do? Basically, Honda saw the Z125 from Kawasaki, and they were like, F*** you.
Yeah. They're
you.
like, you think you can make mini bikes? That's what you think? Go back to making generators, Kawasaki.
No, even Honda owns the generator game.
That's true. Yeah, I was trying to think of some like big heavy industrial thing that
They
Kawasaki
make
was like,
cranes and
they make
boats
cranes.
and shit.
Yeah.
But okay, this is something that I gotta mention here. Honda claims 9 NINE horsepower. They didn't even write out the full number just to make it feel more substantial.
Yeah, 9 horsepower
and 8 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be this dumb little thing. But I apparently this isn't coming to America, right?
Nope, it is not coming to America, so can't have it, which is a bit of a bummer. But so we were looking at all the Honda Mini Motos, and they're all the same price, basically.
Basically, yeah.
35, Monkey,
the
42.
The Monkey is such a boomer cash grab, I have to say. There's the Trail 125, which you can't find anywhere.
Yep.
They don't sell them, basically.
And then they have the Navi, which is such a weird number.
1807. Because the bean counters are like, if you price it at $18.99, we won't make money on it. It needs to be 1807, so we make at least $6 on these bikes.
Yep. It is such an ugly thing.
Oh, it's
this whole situation right there, it just that doesn't work.
No, the Navi's very peculiar.
But I don't know, the mini moto category. It says a lot about the mini moto category that they're just not going to bother bringing this out here.
No.
That it's not for us.
No, it's not. And they know that. They know that in America, you kind of need to bring 300 cc's to play ball. Unless you're Honda selling Groms and Trails and stuff. Mm-hmm. Every other category, even the dual sports, you need 300 cc's to play ball.
Yep.
I think. I think Honda's playing it dangerously with their 286cc single, and a lot of people aren't buying those bikes because they are 286 and not 321 like the R3, 399 like the 400s.
They get humbled a lot.
But like we looked up the other day, Honda doesn't give a about that because they sell 12 million bikes a year.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever. But I honestly think a lot of Americans are getting keyed in on these things, especially as gas prices go up. Speaking of gas, where exactly does fuel go on that thing? In the rail? Under the seat?
Yeah.
I bet there's a little, like a sippy cup.
Yeah, I bet you the seat comes up and the gas tank's right up there.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not in the spine here.
No way.
So, probably you flip it over. Just like the old CT90 or CT70.
Yeah.
So, there she blows. That's the old school one.
That's the old one.
That's the new one.
Yeah, so at this point, it's just like, Honda Mini Moto supremacy. How much more can they really do? You know what I mean?
Just another one.
Another one.
And another one.
Another one.
Yep.
And it's all these, like, callback bikes, It's all these very approachable, cute, callback, retro kind of styled bikes, except for the Grom. I mean, I hesitate to say, but I'm like, I don't know what else they could do as a Mini Moto, but it's like,
a cruiser.
They'll come up with some
weird like mini moto cruiser thing.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Honda Dax.
Yep.
We'll keep an eye on it if it ever pops up in the States. And now last for the news this week, we have news from the MotoGP side of things. Yep. Mr. Marc Marquez, we're going to talk about him a little bit.
He done scrambled his noodle a little bit.
He scrambled his noodle again. So for those of you who don't follow MotoGP much, you probably have heard the name Marc Marquez, right?
Yes.
8-time world champion, God tier rider. 2019, he won every single race except for like one or two and crashed out of one, I think. Just a crazy record for that year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Mr. Marc broke his arm in Jerez of 2020 and has been plagued with injuries and such for the better part of 2 years now. This year he came back, looked like he was super competitive. However, for a lot of circumstances that I think are too nitty-gritty to get into this podcast, he crashed in Indonesia at the Malika circuit, and he had a truly biblical high side.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, just Google.
Look it up.
It's
crazy.
It's a savage high side.
Yeah.
He's lucky that the injury he suffered was the only injury he suffered.
Yeah, that looked like, oh, you're going to break your hip on the way down. He got flung 15 feet in the air, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as tall as this building is right here, probably easily.
And he was doing like 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour, got high-sided. Again, lots of detail of why that happened, blah, blah, blah. Too much to get into this podcast. Anyways, the big news is Marc has suffered from like 2011 with a condition called diplopia. Two vision. I believe it's diplopia is the name of the problem.
Let's do a Google.
Diplopia.
Yep.
Yeah, double vision. So Marc now has resurfaced this problem. Back in 2011, he had a big crash where his eye got messed up and he has nerve damage on his eye. And now he had it again after an enduro accident or a training incident that he had back in 2021. Mm-hmm. Then they waited it out and it was fine. After this big high side, it started resurging again. Yep. 24 hours after it happened, which thankfully they didn't have him go race because they have tighter protocols on concussions in GP now, because that would have been super sketch. So now he's going to miss Argentina, and he will probably miss COTA as well.
Yes.
Because he's unfortunately seeing double. The thing we want to talk about is, where does he go from here? You know?
Dude, I mean, there's only so many times you can take that hit before it doesn't heal anymore.
I know, man. And that's the scary part is, do you want to retire on your own terms, or do you want to keep going out and crashing your brains out and have it taken away from you? You know? It's happened to a lot of athletes, man.
The thing is with Marc, with other people, they would slow down.
Yes.
But Marc Marquez is incapable. He's physically incapable of slowing down.
That's why he signed some ungodly amount of money with Honda for a 4-year contract or whatever, because that's what he does, dude. Yeah,
he just rides at 10/10ths all the time.
Yeah. 11/10ths, one would say.
Yeah. And there's a point at which you're going to continue to race and hurt yourself so badly that it ruins the rest of your... Because he's my age.
Yeah, he's 28.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. It's always weird for me. I'd look at Marc and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's younger than me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's so freaking bizarre. And he's like one of the best human beings to ever get on a motorcycle ever.
Yeah.
But he still has the rest of his life ahead of him.
Yeah.
And how, we hear about, football players and boxers who have repeated trauma and it changes their personality.
Totally.
You know? And you'd hate to see that happen to somebody who's that young.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky situation with Marc. I think the sensible person in me that doesn't race motorcycles for a living, because if you put me on a MotoGP bike, I'm going to crash the first lap. The sensible person in me says, stop while you're ahead, dude. Mm-hmm. Like you have all these compounding injuries. You don't really have much to prove. You've proven that you are one of the most gifted people to ever jump aboard a motorcycle. Like, yes, you don't have 9 titles like Rossi, and yes, that might sting a little bit. You didn't prove empirically that you're the greatest of all time, but you're one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, and I think if he goes down now, if he's like, you know what, the just isn't worth it for me anymore, and he says, I'm going to tap out, he still has the, unlike most riders, the last 2 champions have an asterisk next to their trophies because Marc Marquez wasn't there.
Yeah.
And because everybody knew what Marc was capable of.
Yeah.
Had he stayed competitive in those 2 seasons, who the hell knows? He might be at 10 now.
Honestly, yeah. But with the way he rode, it was only a matter of time. And it's such a bummer to see that he can't, he doesn't seem to be able to pull it back a little bit or ride a little bit more within the limit. And some people have made the case that it's like, oh, well, now the Honda, and this is some of the nitty-gritty stuff I said I didn't want to get into, but I'm going to get into anyways because it's my damn podcast and do whatever I want. The Honda is an all-new bike for 2022, and it's a lot more rear bias now. They've changed the balance of the bike, and in Mandalika, there was a tire thing where they brought out this old tire from 2018 with an old construction. Hondas didn't have that, blah, 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 blah. There's all this stuff, and so a lot of people are saying that the reason that Marc had this crazy high side is because he's used to crashing with the front The front would let go, and he could just slide off, and he's binned it. Whereas now, the rear is letting go.
Yeah.
And that's way more dangerous for Marc if he's hammering it, right?
Yep.
So there's some of that into play, too, where he is not adapting as well to the new RC213 VS as some other riders, because Marc only knows how to ride one way, and the bikes always fit him perfectly, and that's not the case anymore.
But man,
especially when you saw how Pole did in Qatar.
Yeah, the thing about Marc though is it's like, dude, you should have known.
Yeah.
That conditions were not conducive to send it like that.
Yeah.
Like
it was a warm up. It was a warm up session. It wasn't even qualifying.
Yeah.
It was warm up before
before the race, before things mattered.
It's crazy. It's like
dude,
why?
That was not the time to do that.
Yeah.
Especially since the race ended up being on completely different tires in the wet.
Yeah.
You know, I bet you had he gotten to start in the wet, he would have just walked away with it.
Yeah.
Because, Marc Marquez
it's very ironic that he was trying so hard to get into Q2, and then it rained, and it didn't really even matter anyways.
Yeah, because he would have just annihilated everybody.
Yeah. It's just so bizarre how things work out like that.
Yeah.
I just think it's a funny situation, because I don't think Honda would ever give up on Marc, but they're making it damn hard for him, right? Or he's making it damn hard for them.
Yeah.
Whereas
he's missed 2 seasons.
He's missed 2 seasons. Now he's going to miss more races, and it's like, at what point are you like, this guy's a liability? You know, like we have a race program we need to run. We have talented riders we can put in this seat, and this guy's missing races constantly and wins his expiration date. You know,
who the carries the torch for Marc Marquez?
Pedro Acosta.
Yeah, it has to be him.
Has to be him.
That's the only
he's
person
he's the only golden boy I can think of to fill those shoes.
Yeah.
Holy moly, dude.
Yeah. I mean, how else can
friggin' Pole's never won a race, man,
No.
and he's there right next to him. So it's like, you got to be God tier in that seat.
And yeah, Pole Espargaro did well in Qatar, but I think that dude's going to fall apart towards the end of the season. I just don't think he's got what it takes.
I don't think so either.
I could eat my words.
He's never proven that he has what it takes.
No. But
no wins.
No, and it's just like, yeah, he's been on the podium a couple of times, but that's not going to carry a program.
No.
So
especially not for Honda. Honda's like, we win. We win races. That's what we do. Yeah. From like back with like Mick Doohan, dude, like in the 90s. There's like, we win races. If you're on Honda, you win. You crash or you win. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing else.
But it's tough, man. It's really tough, because Marquez is one of those guys that I love to watch.
He's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
He's amazing. Yeah, like
seeing him, even like the 70% Marquez that was here in November.
Yeah, when
GP was here, I was like, God damn it, that guy's unbelievable. Because he goes around turn 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's the next guy.
Yeah, I love watching his. I think I watched the 2013 season over again a while ago, and you watch this rookie just like scything through the likes of Lorenzo and Rossi and Pedrosa, the back end just loose, and he's just bearing it in and passing him in these crazy maneuvers he was pulling off as a rookie. I mean, there's a reason that when that year happened, everyone's like, who the is this guy? He's just an alien, and that's why they called him Baby Alien for the longest time. I mean, I think Pedro Acosta is a super talented rider. I don't know if he'll be another like Marquez.
No.
Marquez was just world shifting.
I don't know that anybody on a bike right now is as stunning to watch.
Yeah, no.
So I guess we'll see. I really want to see Marquez find a happy medium and go back to being able to race again. But then, I'd hate to see the guy go back and race and then get really hurt.
I think what's going to happen, because I feel like Alberto Puig and the Honda program are so like, I don't know the word, they're so like hardcore about this stuff. I think they'll force him to get the surgery on his eye. He'll be out for like 3 or 4 more races, and then he'll come back in. They'll be like, okay, you're good now, right? Okay, go out there and try to win. Mm-hmm. Go win, Marc. And they're just going to like hammer him home until he wins again.
Yep.
And then the guy's going to get hurt and have to retire on an injury. Yep. I think that's what's going to happen. He's not going to quit himself.
He's not wired to quit.
No.
Not the way that dude rides.
No. And he even said, I think early in 2021 with the injuries and stuff, he was like, I was in a dark place and I contemplated like retiring. He's like, I contemplated. And for him to say that is like, holy crap, dude. Like, it must have really been a dark place. But I want him to win another championship. I want him to win 2 more. I want him to be a 10-time.
Yeah. I
think he has it in him, but with what's happening now, it's like, I don't know anymore.
You know what? What if in a world where Honda's like, we can't afford to pay your salary anymore, Mark, because you're unreliable.
Too much of a liability, yeah.
So they cut him, and then Aprilia's like, wait a minute.
Aprilia?
Wait a minute.
No, John, no.
Maverick, get f***ed.
No.
And then it's just going to be Alicia Spargo and Marc Marquez.
What universe is this that you think Aprilia can afford Marc Marquez? I think his contract for 4 years is like $50 million or something. Some astronomical number.
He would never go to Ducati, though. I don't think Marquez could ride it.
I think if Marc quit, that's it. He's not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
And because nobody else would look at Marc and be like, no, that's the guy we want. That's the guy that crashes all the time and is like about to fall apart with his bodies.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's the best idea. Especially, well, Ducati's got like a talent pipeline coming out the wazoo, right? Like
they still can't win.
They can't win. Mark my words. Mark them. March 30th is when I'm recording this. Ducati will not win this championship. Will not. I promised the Track Day boys on Discord too. I was like, I will eat my hat if Ducati wins. Oh no! I told them if a satellite rider wins a championship, because they were like, oh yeah, Enea Bastianini or Jorge. I'm like, no, hell no.
Nope.
They're gonna be great. Win a couple races. No win. No chance. No chance. Anyways, folks, let's move on to the DM portion of the podcast. We've gone so far over time on this one.
Yep.
Alrighty, folks, welcome to the Discord DM part of the podcast. You know the drill if you've been around the Yamcast a few times. This is where we ask our Discord members to send us in a few questions or comments related to a topic we have for the week. If you want to join these and have your questions read and hang out with us on a deeper level, it's a lot of fun. Join over on yamadu.co, join the Discord server, and then we do these live a week before the Yamcast actually goes live on YouTube. And then we answer your questions, have some fun. So today, the DM topic is, if you were to get a hypothetical $1,000 dropped into your nice little bank account today, and you have to spend it on your motorcycle or motorcycles, how would you modify them, and what would you do? Spite, if I just gave you a little bonus today, added to your payroll for March, which is about to run, an extra $1,000, and I say you must spend it on your bikes, what would you do?
It's tough, man, because I actually have the SMCR basically where I want it. That bike is kind of done, or at least it will be when I get it back.
Pretty much, yeah.
So probably what I'd do is I would look into tuning solutions on the KLR, just to see what it can do, just for giggles. Get an exhaust for it, open up the airbox a little bit, get a tune, because it's already got basically everything that I want. I mean, my bikes are sorted, frankly, at this point.
You do need tires on the KLR.
I do need new tires on the KLR.
Which you can get over on shop.yamadu.co.
Yeah.
You can sell the TKC80s. You get that employee discount. You get them at cost.
So I suppose it would be $1,000 or a couple $100 on TKC80s. And then a pipe. And then probably just pocket the rest of it for additional motorcycle expenses down the line.
Yeah.
Because my stuff's sorted at this point.
That's fair.
How about you?
So, I've been thinking about this one, and I said as a joke that I would put like a stack of hundreds in a glass box for a Turbo Hayabusa emergency fund, because something's going to come up on that bike. But I think what I would actually do is, if you're giving me $1,000 and it's free money and I can just do whatever I want with it, a lot of my bikes are already also pretty sorted, but there's one fun project I've been thinking about for at least 2 years now that I would like to do, and I think I could accomplish it with about $1,000, is I would like to kind of properly adventurify the Scrambler.
Yeah,
There's a package that a company called, I think it's Earl Motors, I don't remember. They make like this thing called the Alaska Junior package, where you can extend the swing arm a little bit. That gives you clearance for super knobby tires. You get a 21-inch on it. You can change out the suspension a little bit. Just make that bike just an extra little bit more capable. because I don't know. I think it'd be fun to have that bike on skinnier tires with a 21.
Yeah, that would be really
that
cool.
That bike would be a lot of fun with that setup. It'd be a great, like, you know, easy going fire road kind of bike at that point. If you see some ledges or obstacles, you know, you got that 21, you can roll over stuff easier. I'd love to put this is something I've been wanting to do on that bike is a clear clutch cover just for giggles. Would be kind of fun.
I mean, it's a Ducati. You got to have a
Ducati,
clear clutch
yeah.
cover.
So yeah, I think that would be fun for that bike. I think that's what I would do with my $1,000. If I didn't do that, I would just literally pocket that for tires, because I buy so many tires throughout the year on all my bikes, either on my race bike, or the tires I just bought on the Husky, or, you know, Turbo Busa tires are just probably gonna get roasted here in a couple. I mean, after what we did today with that bike, it probably needs a new tire. So. Yeah. Now let's see what the boys have to say. Wow, we have so many DMs. Okay, let's go.
Let's get started with Orange 990.
All right, Orange 990 says $1,000 would cover my Recluse clutch and my left-hand rear brake project. I'm looking to reduce hand fatigue when clutching the rough stuff on the 990. Those are really cool mods to do on an adventure bike. Yep. I've actually considered maybe doing a Recluse on the Husky, but haven't really found the need to do it yet with some of my stuff. So.
Yeah, Recluses are pretty cool. I've seen the value in them now.
Have you ever ridden a bike with one?
I mean, we did the
MV Agusta, right?
Yeah.
Basically the same, yeah. They're so weird.
Wyatt up next.
Wyatt says $1,000 parts budget on my XR1200X would go to Super Trap mufflers and Michelin Road 4 GT tires. Already has great dual disc brakes and fully adjustable suspension. Oh, and a track day at Grattan. That sounds awesome. Get a pipe, get some new tires, and a track day.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom. I think you'd be the talk of the town with an XR 1200 at the track day for sure.
Yeah, and the thing about the XR that's so cool is the 17s.
Yeah.
And it's like basically ready to go for a Sportster.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be fun.
Maddie K says, I'm planning on buying an FTR soon, and with $1,000, I think I would basically copy Yam's sled and then go desert tan / black with the color. By copy the sled, I mean go scrambler, basically, tires, handlebars, etc. Scramblerifying an FTR with $1,000. Don't they sell the rally version?
Yeah, they still
It's
sell
basically
the rally.
the same thing. So
yeah, get the rally and then just $1,000 worth of Dirt Boy mods on that.
Yep.
That's a heavy bike.
That's a heavy bike. And that would be a weird bike to try to do serious off-roading with.
Yeah.
Very awkward. Very awkward. Yeah, imagine a bass drop in FTR.
Oh, God. Full Metal Corgi.
Full Metal Corgi says, if I had $1,000 to put into my bike, I'd either get the best tune possible for the Turbo Busa, or I'd double the battery size for my EV build. Expensive, y'all. I think this guy's doing an EV build on that KZ, if I remember correctly. Because Corgi's got that weird wretched KZ. I think he's doing like an EV build. Yeah. But he's got a Turbo Busa, so he'll always be a friend in my heart.
JMM Fires up next.
JMM Fire says, if I'm doing mods for my Stripple, I'd definitely shoot for new exhaust, some rear luggage to make the daily ride a little easier, maybe Nelson rig, maybe not, and an OEM belly pan, a fly screen to clean up the look a little bit. The bike does twice a week trips to the office, so having something I can ride comfortably is important. If I could swing it, I'd also love to paint the tank. It has this really tacky Cityscape painted on the retainer. Oh, what is that? That's painted on there?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, at least your leg covers that up while you ride it. That owned the bike as a show bike before me. I don't know if you could do all that for $1,000. That's pretty. That's pretty tough. Exhaust, luggage, belly pan. Like I'm already thinking that's 900 or 1,000 right there.
I mean, on that street triple, the exhaust alone might be $1,000.
Yeah.
Depending on where you went. Next up, Honaha Yamada.
Honaha Yamada says, if I had a free grand for mods or other parts, though there's tons to choose from, I think for my bike, a 1985 Honda Sabre V65 VF 1100, I'd have to go with some slightly larger cams since I should replace them anyways, since it got about 65,000 miles on them, and since the cams on the Magnas and Sabres have a tendency to go out because of the lubrication issue at idle, so I might as well go with a slightly bigger cam and some new jets to compensate, hop in the airflow, and if it's good enough, LOL. Then after that, I'd get a better seat with an ash shelf, since it should have come with it from factory. If I have enough after that, I'd probably get a new radiator for looks, and it still has a stock one on there. Could potentially use a refresh, since I don't know how often the fluid was changed with the last owner. I'll probably end up covering the new hosed, but that's all right. LOL. Take care, bros.
That's a lot.
That is a lot, but those older bikes, you can buy some mods for pretty cheap. So yeah. I bet cams wouldn't be that expensive.
No, cams are probably
couple hundred.
A couple hundred, yeah.
Then just a weekend in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Cool mod. Cool, like, old school hot rodding mod to do, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
There are people out there. Ooh, maybe take back my thing about the KLR. I would do the 751 kit.
Oh, you'd bore it out?
They have a big bore kit for the KLRs.
You should do that someday.
I bet you they make that for the new one. I think it's a 751 or 715.
I've heard nothing but horror stories from big bore kits on WRs. I don't know if KLRs are the same way, but WRs, there's so many problems with those big bore kits.
Because they thin out the sidewalls.
They don't do that on the KLR?
This is they replace the top end.
Oh, okay.
So that would be what I would
totally do that one day.
Infertile Saxon.
He says, or she says, $1,000 begins street tracker conversion on Scout Bobber 60. A street tracker conversion on a Scout Bobber 60.
Just trade it in for an FTR.
Trade it in for an FTR. It's already done.
Yeah.
And it's such a sweet street tracker. Like, it's like proper.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to sound shitty about it, but that's what I would do. Because the Scout Bobber's cool, don't get me wrong, but I don't personally love the Scout Bobber look.
Also, trying to turn a bobber into a tracker is like, okay, you're going to need a new subframe. You're going to need to adjust the geometry.
Yeah.
Just get an FTR.
Is this Wretched?
Wretched says, oil cooler riding a Harley Road King in Colorado summer can get a bit hot. So he would put an oil cooler on his Harley Road King. Is that $1,000?
I don't think so.
It's Harley stuff, you know?
It better not be $1,000.
It's a Screamin' Eagle, silky smooth, stage 4 oil cooler, though.
I actually had a Sportster parts build when I was looking at buying a Sportster.
I remember
before
this.
I got the
remember this.
KTM, and an oil cooler was in there. I don't remember how much it was going to be, though.
Yeah.
So
I am so happy you bought a KLR and not a Sportster.
KTM.
Oh, KTM?
Yeah, this was back in before I got the KTM.
The KTM. That's right. Yeah.
Just Jack
says tires. Just spent around $260 for a Michelin GT5 rear. I'd get 3 rear tires and 1 or 2 fronts. Boom, my kind of guy right there. Get the tires, get the seat time, baby. I love it.
X2
with an extra $1,000, I would add an exhaust, fuel controller, and dyno tune on the KLX 250. Could be cool. I think the KLX 250 could benefit more from super upgraded suspension more than the tune and stuff, honestly. Get like some proper front suspension and a new shock on there. It's going to feel like a brand new bike.
Yeah, because I think the KLX 250 has some squishy suspension.
For sure.
Next up, I can't see because the screen is so bright.
Jerd says, if I had $1,000 to spend on my MT10, I would get a Brembo RCS 19 master cylinder.
Right after your own heart there.
After my own heart. Steel braided brake lines and some sintered brake pads. If anything's left, maybe an extra tires. Stupid, ridiculous overkill for an MT10 if you're not tracking it, but the feel is impeccable. RCS, I feel like every bike should have that master cylinder. It feels so good. The other day I was back in the shop and I was like near my race bike and I touched the front brake and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, that's the good stuff.
Next we got Katoom the Baboon.
Katoom the Baboon. Nice username. Moto Hooligan billet intake for my 1290 as well as an ECU tune. Oh yeah, it's $50 to fill up the Super Duke here in Sweden, so maybe I'll just spend it on that. Ouch. Man. Yeah, Europe's getting hit harder with that geopolitical stuff happening over there. $50 to fill up a motorcycle.
God damn.
Yoinks. That's a lot.
Not Rottweiler though.
I was gonna say you're gonna simp for Rottweiler, right?
Yeah, Rottweiler's the way to go here in the States. You got to get the big, dirt filter on there.
But this is what you really want to do is get the Rottweiler kit. I've never heard of the Moto Hooligan billet intake for the 1290, but
me neither.
I bet that 1290 would honk with an intake.
Oh hell yeah!
It'd be so sweet.
Because that bike needs to be fast.
Yeah, it needs more power.
Pat is next.
Pat says the Zard 2-into-1 full system for my 2020 Triumph Street Scrambler, the Tiger 750 kit. Zard makes some pretty good stuff for the Triumphs. I love the way the Street Scrambler sounded with that pipe we had on there.
Yeah.
So nice, dude.
You can really just get the feeling of how velvety smooth that engine is when you can really hear it.
I want to do another Triumph modern classic bike so bad.
A Bonnie
or a Thruxton or a Scrambler. Like, I don't care which one it is. They're all good.
Yeah.
They're all good, man. The what is it? The Speed Twin. The Speed Twin is so nice.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got
Popped Bit. I just got a 2021 Kawasaki Concourse 14 a month ago. And if I had $1,000 for it, I would start with the taller windscreen. It is adjustable, but max height, it buffets my head. But I feel like a couple extra inches would do wonders. Extra inches always do wonders, don't you know? After it's too easy, folks. After that, I would probably get a trunk for camping, carrying capacity. I don't know what it is about Concourse 14 people. And you may not be like this. So I may be putting you on blast here, but they love talking about their bikes, don't they?
They really
I see
do.
in the comments so often, man. People just simping about the Concourse all the time.
Because it's the like legit sport touring Busa.
It is, yeah.
But
the windscreen thing is annoying. You felt this pain on your. Come on, don't do them like that. I agree, but don't do them like that. Okay. This poor guy.
I'm sorry.
The windscreen thing is a big thing. Every bike I ride with the windscreen that isn't a friggin' Goldwing, you put it up and it's just like, blah, 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 your head just starts moving around. I'm like, what's the point of this? Just give me the win. I don't care.
I actually, if I'm not putting my stupid boogie board windscreen on the KLR, I prefer to ride without the windscreen.
Yes.
I just take it off.
It's easier.
I bolted it back on just for some commuting, and I hate it. It's in the wrong spot. Next up is Satsui.
Satsui, if I was given an extra $1,000 for modding my bike, I would definitely buy a set of super sticky tires, frame sliders, and spend whatever else I had left on going to the track. Love it.
Another
Love it.
aspiring fast boy.
Love it. It hurts my soul that so many aspiring fast boys are just like $1,000 away from just doing it. You know, I'm like, damn, I wish I could help all of you. I wish I could just give you $1,000. You go to the track.
Next up, we've got TJA numbers.
TJA says, can I say I'd put it down for my next bike? Yes, of course you can. I have an MT-03 and looking to upgrade / pass this off to a girlfriend. By the way, my dog's name is Busa. Blow that good boy up right there. Let's see a photo of this sweet little pit bull. Look at that guy. His name is Busa.
That's a good-looking dog right there.
That's a good-looking dog. Noble, proud.
But what would be the next bike?
After an MT-03, Tuono 660.
I mean, yeah.
We're getting one of those later this year, factory. We're going to do a giveaway bike, and I'm hyped.
I'm so looking forward to that one. You guys are going to get real sick of how much simping we do.
We're not going to stop, dude.
Bad Assler is next.
Bad Assler says, every anodized orange KTM power part, $1,000 will get me. And he says, so like a brake reservoir cover. Joking aside, suspension, probably just the springs to keep cost low, tail tidy because 99% of all motorcycles' tails look like ass, not the good kind. Slip-on exhaust, if I have enough money left over, I would throw it at a better tires. I would say tires first, my man. But I think if I remember his build, he's got the 500, and I think he already put on some really good tires, so I don't know how much better it could be. But it could always be more orange. Could always be more orange, folks. That's what you got to learn about KTM people. It's never orange enough.
I don't have enough orange on my bike. I need to get the orange reservoir caps at least.
Here's what you got to do. On the KLR, you got to put orange levers, and then you got to put a sticker on the pannier that says, my other ride is a KTM.
That would be great. Next up, we've got Mouse.
Mouse, I think I would spend that money on new brakes and good tires on a Vulcan 900. Never a bad idea to spend on brakes and tires, man. That's always the important. This is why we make fun of the 600 boys, because you'll see bikes on clapped out OE tires with levers, smoked out windscreen, frame sliders, like some custom seat. And I'm like, what are you doing? Get real tires on your bike and air them up. Ugh, soapbox time there.
Next up, we've got N Harvey 17.
And Harvey 17, for my R7, I have probably done over 1K in mods so far. A Two Brothers DB Pro exhaust on the way, a rear axle slider, fork and frame sliders, dark smoke windscreen. And no, it is not the blacked out one you put on the giveaway R7, which I took off for the track, by the way, and you shouldn't ever do those. We got this for free. I'm not going to get into it. Tank grips and a Rizoma Stealth mirrors. It's a pretty good little build set for the R7.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
Slow HD is next.
Slow HD says, with $1,000, I'd upgrade my tires and handlebar controls, maybe grab a swing arm bag from an 84 Sportster 1000. Yeah, leader bike life. Well, I don't know if it's a leader bike.
Man, 84 Sportster. That's
cool.
That's old school right there.
Old school, man. That bike is almost 40 years old, 38 years old.
Get the lore.
Get the lore. Dig deep.
It's not panhead. It's not. It might be.
It's not shovel. That's super old.
It actually might be a shovel head.
No way.
Maybe, or is it a knucklehead? Knucklehead's even older than the shovel head.
I thought it went knuckle, shovel, pan.
It might. I don't remember. There's so many different kinds.
There's too many.
Oh, you know what it might be? It might be the iron head.
Just iron head?
At that point, yeah. Because the iron head is just like a big square thing.
Yeah.
Then the modern one, I think, is the blockhead.
Yeah.
Magic Toaster.
Magic Toaster says, if I had $1,000 to put on my bike, I'd be able to afford one fairing piece. Is that how much it is for the Energica, for one fairing?
I must be.
That's brutal.
The problem with these Energicas is you can't on them because they're electric bikes.
What are you going to do?
Get some anodized levers and call it a day. Lampus is next.
Lampus says, if I had $1,000 for my Street Triple RS, I'd take it to a track day and then grab a pair of Road 6 tires to change afterwards. The Supercourses are a little scary in the wet. Totally agree. Supercourses are ass in the wet. I had a pair on my Daytona back when I used to run Daytona on the street as a street squid, and anytime it would rain, I would pucker my butthole so much. Did not like that.
Twisted SV is next.
Twisted SV says, heated grips, cruise control to keep me going on those cool evenings. Wondering whether one can buy aftermarket auto shift / blip for a K4 SV. Tires, want to try some Rosso courses. You can do a quick shifter. You cannot do an auto blip on a bike that doesn't come with it from the factory. Yep. Maybe you can, but it's like way too complicated for my liking. Quick shifter's really easy though.
Yep. And cruise control, those things cheap. Just get the one that I got.
Yeah.
I mean,
which we got to reach out to those guys because we really like their stuff.
Yeah. No, it's solid. The Chazen.
Oh boy, the Chanson only have a few mods left for me to buy, so $1,000 would go towards the new rear shocks and the exhaust and the shipping from Japan. Wow, it's got to come from Japan. That sucks.
That's brutal.
New shocks on the little Trail 125. It's a good mod.
I mean, I suppose it's probably a little better than just burying all the way through the suspension every time you go over a nickel. Go for Joe.
Go for Joe. $1,000 down payment on a Grom for my daughter. My current bike isn't worth sinking any money into, not because it sucks, but because the only real thing to do with it is to upgrade to the next level of bike. Still waiting to figure out what that might be. ... As I can see from the photo, this is the guy that has the CB300. Mm-hmm. It's a great bike.
It's nice to see somebody who understands when not to mod a motorcycle. When a motorcycle is not worth modding.
Yeah.
And they just ride it.
Totally understands that it's like, it just needs to do what it is. It just needs to do what it does. And, get me to learn, get me to do stuff with it. But it seems like, with the daughter, maybe an older guy, has his head on straight. He's not buying anodized levers. No. He's not putting on smoked windscreens, Nope. He's doing the right thing.
Looks like Infernal Saxon has come back with you're not gonna do that with $1,000, my friend.
You're not gonna do that in general. I'm just gonna put that out there. Also, just buy an FTR.
Honestly, yeah.
Just do that. Also, just buy an FTR. Next.
Thick Fuzz 09.
Thick Fuzz 09. If I had $1,000 for my FZ09, I'd get actual functional front suspension, some Öhlins to match the rear shock. It ain't gonna fix that bike.
Nope.
I hate to break it to you. The guy that won our giveaway MT09 swears that he was able to fix it and get it better. Ed Zick, the guy that out in California.
Ship it back. We'll test it out and we'll prove it.
We'll go to Cali and ride it. Be like, he says he fixed it. NFTs 44. Hey, Spite, I would most likely get a new exhaust for my Kawasaki Vulcan 650.
Oh,
it sounds so tame right now. No. I would also maybe get the OEM heated grips if I had some money left over after watching the KLR videos. Just do the grips.
Dude,
don't put an exhaust on that thing. Do us all a favor.
Please.
Don't do that.
You can't fix the Vulcan.
You can't fix the Vulcan's exhaust sound.
Okay. Slow HD's.
It's a cruiser for good boys. Why do you want to mess it up?
Oh, I called it the Ironhead.
Oh, nice.
I think it was the Ironhead.
Nice. He came back with the Ironhead thing. Then last for today, we have Chancey Boy. And he says, a single Yami Noob brake reservoir sock. Yes, they are $1,000. We should make a secret page on the merch store that no one can find that has them for sale for like $1,000.
It should be like just like a hidden button.
A hidden button somewhere, yeah. And it's like, hey, if you can find it, well, you know, we'll send it to you. We have a couple back there. Yeah. Alrighty, boys, thanks so much for sending your comments over the $1,000. That was a lot of fun. We're now going to move on to everyone's favorite part of the podcast, the meme contest. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, folks, welcome to the meme contest of the week. We've got a great format for you, ripe for having some fun. We might drop the, you can probably pick this out from post and make it white and turn it into a good format for you. I think it's a good format, right?
Yeah, this one's got a ton of potential.
Yeah. So it's you explaining something on the whiteboard and then me being like, you know, what would you call that expression that I'm doing?
Like you're thinking quizzically about something else, or like you have your learned retort.
Yeah. And you're like pleading. You're like, no, look at this situation. Like, you have not considered this, right?
Yeah. So that's it's basically like point counterpoint situation here.
Yeah. And to remind you guys, the prizes for this week, for those Discord boys who submitted, we have a pair of flying eyes up for grabs for first place. We have a $50 gift card for second place, and for third place, it's a piece of merch.
It is, any t-shirt.
Any t-shirt, which is pretty sweet. All right, let's begin. Who's up first?
We got Go for Joe up first.
Go for Joe here with this meme. It's got you. How to pick the right bike for me. Its intended purpose plus squid variable minus budget concerns equals still confused n plus 1. And then I say how to pick the right bike, period. Track bike, scrambler, dual sport, Turbo Busa, returning project sport bike plus Twisted Road subscriptions minus budget concerns, YouTube subs, Discord subs, sponsorships, negligible equals n plus whatever you want. Sorry. Or whatever you want, baby. I do feel extremely spoiled sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. With the amount of bikes I have in my, did you see that e-bike guy just absolutely ripping? He was going really fast on a bicycle. For all the bikes I personally own, and then the litany of bikes we get to ride and I have for giveaways, the loaner bikes that come through. If I didn't make videos and share the love with everyone, it'd be like, you have a problem. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, stop riding so many damn motorcycles.
There's the amount of bikes that I've had access to as a result of all this work has been wild.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I have the motorcycles I have now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd probably just be goofing around on, like a Harley or the Interceptor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think when you started, you had ridden like 5 or 6 bikes, right?
Yep. That's nothing.
A laughable figure now.
Yep. All right, so Go for Joe, creativity and funniness.
All right, creativity here. I think I want to give this. I think a 7.
A 7.
Yeah. And
funniness.
I think a 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
That is a 13.
Respectable score.
Next up, we've got AG Silence.
We've got the Honda Navi, apparently.
There we go. With this one.
AG Silence here's forced air intake, ECU flash, custom engine rebuild, air fuel ratios, and dyno charts. And then me just says, Gen 1 Busa plus Magic Fan plus 10K equals finally fast, riding a 6 car. A magic fan.
I love that.
It is a magic fan when you think about it. Oh, but what magic it conjures, such a magic fan.
That's
basically
so simple, but actually really funny.
It basically describes why I had such problems with my Hayabusa, because I genuinely thought that that's how it would go. I was like, yeah, you just chuck it on there and that's it. You're done, right? No, you're not even close to being done. Not even f***ing close. Oh my god! I just want to remind y'all, it took 49 weeks. 49 weeks from first installation of the turbo to a reliable Turbo Hayabusa now.
Reliable.
Is it not?
I mean,
it has been featured in like 5 videos so far and nothing's gone wrong with it.
It almost ran out of gas.
It's more reliable than my Husky. Husky's friggin' shift lever fell off the other day.
Yeah, I suppose. We'll see. It is going to blow up sooner or later.
It makes better noises than my Daytona.
That's not hard. The Daytona has been through more stuff than Marc Marquez.
It has. I got to start that bike up and make sure it's still good.
So for AG Silence here.
AG Silence, for creativity, I want to give him a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
But I really like the funniness
I did
on this
too.
one.
It was very funny. I think an 8.5.
An 8.5.
Got a good chuckle out of me.
That's 16 right there. Next up, we've got Full Metal Corgi, who I think is a new rising star in the meme world.
Rising star. Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Full Metal Corgi here says you're kind of describing why Harley needs to change its marketing strategy for younger buyers. Then I'm saying this: Ducati plus e-bike equals the Ducati Futa mascot. Do you know about this, by the way?
I do not.
Okay, so
I need to blow this image up because this seems like...
Yeah. So here's the situation with the Ducati and the reason why there's that anime girl there.
Okay.
Ducati released a new electric road bicycle.
Uh-huh.
They had the audacity to call it the Ducati Futa, F-U-T-A. Do you know what a Futa is?
Yes, I do.
So, the internet, being the internet, made a Ducati Futa.
Well, I did.
This the things you didn't need to see today, right?
Ducati just stepped on that rake and they don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't understand how anyone in their marketing department wasn't... It gone through so many people. Nobody Googled the word Futa to see what comes up or what it's short for, with a safe search off, preferably. Because if you keep it on, all you're going to find is, like, I think some tax act or something like that.
If you're doing any sort of market research, you at least need to run whatever you're running through the not safe search at least once.
Just to see. So, yeah, they now have the unironically named Ducati Futa.
Whoops.
Yeah. So I love this meme because it's clearly Ducati chasing those younger audiences, you know.
All right, so for Full Metal Corgi here, creativity.
I think it's pretty creative. I want to give it a 7.5.
A 7.5. And funniness.
I think it's 7, mostly because I got a good chuckle out of it, but I think you were kind of like, it's a bit,
I didn't write. I had to have it explained slightly, but yeah. Okay.
The Ducati Futa. What were you guys thinking? You should have talked to us first, dude. We got our finger on the pulse.
Every single motorcycle manufacturer needs to come to us first.
It's like, we know more about your audience than you do. Trust me. Trust me. You need to make a friggin' Versus 650 Insufferable Edition, and then you'll sell a bunch of them.
Okay, so next up we've got Gringo Joe.
Gringo Joe says you here, explaining the KLR, and then me just pointing out basically every other adventure bike.
Yeah, I mean...
before I really saw you and your KLR, this was kind of the energy. You'd be like, no, it is good, like, please, but I get it now. I get it.
Yeah, I really like... Everybody keeps giving me some grief about it because it's fucking donkey, but I don't care. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I love goofing around with that bike.
It's low stakes fun,
Yeah. And I've already dropped it and bent a bunch of shit, so who cares?
And whenever you do ascend to like a friggin' KTM 890 adventure or whatever, you're gonna be like, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's gonna blow your mind.
So Gringo Joe here, creativity.
I think 6.5 or 7. I'm somewhere between there.
I'm thinking like a 6.5. I
think 6.5, yeah.
Just kind of photos.
Yeah.
And funniness?
Funniness, I think a 6. It was kind of like, matter of fact almost,
Yep. Next up is Odang 12 with this guy right here.
Odang 12, it's Spite explaining how an HD Pan Am would be the perfect logical next expert bike with all the dirt content, and then me saying, the Speed Triple makes sex! And then just showing that off. This is a little bit of a spoiler for you guys, but that's our next giveaway, expert bike. Mm-hmm. Not many people watch the Yamcast towards the end, so we should be okay.
We did try to make it to Pan America.
We went a lot of places with this next expert bike, and there was a lot of factors that happened all at the same time, right? Like I wanted to do a Pan Am as the next one. That was the next. I was committed. I was like, let's get a Pan Am, let's do it. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make the dirt boy content, adventure bike content. We're gonna get that sweet 40 to 50-year-old dad CPM on YouTube. It's gonna be great. but the demand just wasn't there.
Yeah.
You ran the numbers. I ran the numbers on YouTube, and it was like by and far away people wanted a Hyper Naked again. So I was like, okay, well, Street Fighter V4, perfect. We're working with Eurocycles. This is gonna be awesome. They didn't have a V4 that we could get. So I was like, okay. They're like, oh, we'll special order you a V4S. It'll get there in May. I was like, Chris, I need this bike like in 2-3 weeks. I can't wait till May. So then stumbled across Speed Triple Double R. I was like, very beautiful. Good bike. So, yeah, you guys got a little lowdown here on the Yamcast ahead of time.
I mean, there are a lot of worse bikes we could have gone with. This thing's going to be pretty cool.
I'm very excited. And, of course, we got it in white.
Yeah. You got to have the Triumph Sport bikes in white.
Got to.
Okay, so for Odang 12, creativity.
Odang 12's creativity here. What do you think?
It's tough because it's following the same act.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's not bringing something new to the table, it's hard to like.
Maybe let's just give it a 7 then, since it's the same sort of thing, you know. And
funniness.
I think a 6.5.
I was gonna go like a 6.
6?
Yeah, it just.
Let's just do 6. Yeah.
That's 13. Scary Omen, I believe, is next.
Scary Omen. Let's see here. Expert bike giveaway, and it says, Yam, what are you doing? We can't get any expert bikes to give away, and there's like some stuff in the trash. And then I'm looking at that's the KZ1. That's weird.
This is that like weird, ridiculous.
Was that his bike?
I think so.
I don't remember whose bike that was.
Dumpster fire conversion thing that we saw in the. It came from Discord.
Yeah. That truly is an expert bike.
Yeah, no, that...
You got to be an expert to ride that thing.
It's a death trap.
All right, pretty good.
Not feeling this one as much.
No, not feeling as much, but yeah, pretty decent.
Creativity? He tried to iterate on the format a little bit.
Yeah, I think a 6.5 for creativity.
A 6.5.
Yeah.
And funniness.
I think a 5. It was 5. Pretty, yeah.
Slow HD is next. With...
Okay, here we go. Look at the board, Yami. The Tuono is a fast bike. Superly Tuono, 175 horsepower, 61 pounds, 89 torquerinos. Emozione makes the sex. And then me, it says, confused Busa Boy noises.
No whoosh, no flip-flops, no soul-splitting torques.
No yeeting to the sun does not make the sex. And there's a Predator helmet on the shelf. Do you see that?
Yep, and the Suzuki flip-flops. You have a Suzuki tattoo on.
That's pretty good. I do love that. It's like no whoosh, no flip-flops, no soul-splitting torque.
Yep.
That pretty much describes any time I jump on a fast bike nowadays. I'm like, where's the whoosh?
Mm-hmm. I had that same problem.
You get it now.
I had that same... So, a couple of days ago, we did the first ride, and then I got on the
919.
The 919 to go do my first ride on that one. And I was riding it around, and I was like, that's it? I just rolled out 4th gear, and I'm only doing like 100 miles an hour? What the f*** is going on with this bike?
Yep.
And I was like, oh... That's because I'm completely broken inside now. Got it. I need to recalibrate my entire life.
And then you rode it again today, and then you rode a normal Hayabusa, and you're like, where's the boost?
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty fast. It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's quick.
Now you understand whenever I kept saying that, where I was like, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you
After you ride that, you're like, yeah, it's the same.
There is no such thing as fast anymore. It's just Turbo Busa.
Yeah.
Creativity here for Slow HD.
I still think we need to get with Dean, get that runway, and I think we should do, if it's reasonable, race gas and a new spring and get that
really
power,
going.
Get that 350 or 370.
That would be.
Get Josh on it, not me.
Get Josh on it.
Get Josh. Somebody call in the ringer. He'll wide open anything.
That dude really he'll get on a motorcycle and he just has...
He'll just whack it.
Yep.
That's it. All right, creativity is high, man. He went the whole mile there. I think an 8.5 for creativity.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I like the funniness is here too.
Funniness is there. I think an 8 for sure.
Yep. That is a 16.5 new leader
our
right
new
there.
Front runner.
Next up we have the Dark Red Fox with...
I mean, it's yeah.
It is just.
It's very true. Really think about it. It's very true. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's really true, right? When you think about the type of dude that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The more you look at it, the more you start really thinking about it. It's surprisingly deep, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it's so simple, right? Like, it's so beautifully simple. I'm making a case for ass, and yet really, there's a simple known pleasure of tits.
Yep.
That's it. Well, that's a 10 out of 10.
I mean, it's like, yeah.
We honestly can't rate this a 10 out of 10 because our boys will be so mad at us if we give this a 10. We could give it like an honorable mention. So nobody thought to do this, you know?
Yep.
To make something so compellingly simple.
Yep. There is a lot of...
There's layers to it.
Yeah.
There's layers to this one. Layers that we can't get into on this podcast because you got to go on YouTube, but there's a lot of layers to it, you know?
What, you can write your thesis in the Discord.
Somebody make a thesis about the ontological nature of tits versus ass on Discord. About why one is, you know, thought-provoking and the other is just caveman good. It's a tricky thing.
I feel like, you know, speaking of ass and tits, what we haven't heard from in a while ago is the fanfic.
Oh, yeah. I think I had the next chapter, but now we're unfortunately at the end of the podcast. But maybe next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
All right.
All right, let's rate this. That was impressive, I gotta say. I honestly think the creativity is it's high, but for a dumb reason. Do you know what I mean?
It's like it's so stupid that it's good.
Yes. Yeah, it has like a Tommy Wiseau The Room effect. You know, it's so bad it's good. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 for the creativity, honestly.
Yeah. And then funniness.
It wasn't funny though. Like it's funny, but
we laughed at it more because it was just so like,
stupid. And yeah, I think a 6.
A 6.
Yeah.
That's a 13.5. Next up, we have Uncle Jay with this one.
So Uncle Jay here at the top, you have a diagram of a whole engine explaining how it goes together, and then I'm just saying zoop zoop.
That literally describes perfectly the last 2 times the whiteboard was used.
Yes. Yeah.
I was breaking down how engines and valve trains worked, and you were just like, these are all the bikes compared to the Turbo Hayabusa.
Yep. I kind of want that zoop zoop as a tattoo. I think that'd be so funny. That's really nice. I like that zoop zoop. If you drew that, please send me a PNG of that because I love it. Maybe we can make that into a shirt. Dude, a shirt with that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
A zoop zoop shirt. Let me know if you drew that or if that's like a design that someone's made. We can remake it into something else, but I love it. Yeah. I love it.
I also like the little construction helmet going on up top.
Yes.
There's layers to that one too.
Yeah.
Uncle Jay for creativity.
I like this one. I think a 7.5 for creativity. Yeah.
7.5. And funniness?
You give him a half. He needs a 7.
Yes. 7.5. There we go.
A half would be the most brutal score because
It's
it's just marginally better than a 0. It's like, oh, you tried, just a little bit.
You tried so badly.
Yeah. Funniness, I liked it. I think a 7.5 for funniness.
I agree.
That was a good one. Zoop zoop.
That is 15. I think that's
a front runner score.
Place.
Third place, nice.
Yeah. Caster 2 is our final meme for the week.
Caster 2 with this final meme here. This is a Deep Lore Discord meme.
Yep.
You're saying the new Navi isn't that bad, and then I say Hondas are unsafe. But the quote is Hondas are not safe.
Yeah.
That is the quote. It's very specific, and we should explain this. This was probably like a year and a half ago on main chat with all the random bullshit happens on the Discord. It's just like this complete just like bonkers place where they're talking about anything and everything at once. I usually don't go there. There was a guy that, apropos of nothing, somebody was talking about some bike, about some Honda they wanted to buy, and he just put it in there, just plain as day. He just said Hondas are not safe.
Yep.
And never explained what he meant,
and
why they weren't safe. And he disappeared.
He was just gone.
Yeah. It was the same as the guy who was talking about how nitrogen was the solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a reaction meme for anything, too. Where it's like if someone's having an issue, it's like, what'd solve your problem? Nitrogen. Yeah. Deep lore Discord meme here.
But he got it wrong.
What do you mean?
Hondas are unsafe.
Yes, Hondas are not safe. It's not safe. Yeah, I'm sorry, Caster, too. The quote isn't correct there.
F, 0, 0.
F, total zeros. No, let's rate it.
Okay.
I think the creativity, let's just give it a 5 and a 5.
A 5 and a 5.
5 and a 5. Middle of the road. Bell curve.
That's 10.
That's a 10.
All right.
So who is our first place? Slow HD?
Slow HD, yep. With his Turbo Busa meme.
Yes.
So that is our first place. And then
second place is
goes to
AG Silence.
AG Silence. And then second, and then third is
Uncle Jay.
Uncle Jay. So I will get with all y'all about shipping out prizes.
Excellent. Well, folks, that's going to wrap up yet another Yamcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for Flying Eyes for supporting today's show and having some free glasses we can ship out to folks. We do love doing that. And as well, if you've made it to this very end of the Yamcast, I tell you guys every week, you're going to love being on the Discord server. Join over on amity.co. If you love this energy, you will not be disappointed. It is even better on there, if you can believe it. Happens in real time. It never ends. It's so much fun. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging out. See you later. Keep watching Amy Noob!